Welcome, everybody, to Cinema Royale. I am Travis Hopson of PunchDrunkCritics.com. And yeah, it's me running solo this show. I'm going to be trying out a few different things here. This week, I brought in a couple of my pals. You guys, the guy you see on the left there, that's Chris Bumbray of JoeBlow.com. He can't say nothing yet. I ain't unmute him yet. And below him is someone else you might recognize, Cortland Jacoby, who writes for Punch Drunk Critics as well. And I'm about to unmute them in just a second. But I wanted to say thanks to everybody who has written to me and messaged me over the last couple of weeks about my illness. I have had COVID. I am fine. Thank you. I appreciate all of your messages and your concern. I'm not dead yet. I am still here. So let's get this show rolling. We're talking about 3 movies this week. Spider-Man No Way Home, which you may have heard of. Don't Look Up, which is the new Netflix film with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, and directed by Adam McKay. And West Side Story with Steven Spielberg. And if something else comes up, we might bring it up as well. All right, so let's go ahead and unmute these fools here. Chris, you're first.
Hello. I was going to say you should come on the show and you should have done Elton John, I'm Still Standing. You should have said that would have been great.
Well, look, I might start the show with that. You never know, man. I might add it in later.
You should. It's a good idea.
Still standing, man. And Cortland, welcome.
Hello.
Good to see you again. All right, let's talk about this little movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. Let's and look, there will be spoilers here as far as I'm concerned. I figure everybody's already seen the damn thing anyway. And if you don't know, if you're not worried about spoilers, I mean, you wouldn't be watching any show that was revealing Spider-Man No Way Home.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So when you saw it, what was the environment like? Was it a packed theater or?
Yeah, I went to a 3 p.m. showing of it at a theater here in Tyson's Corner, and it was about 3/4 full at 3 p.m. And
how about you, Cortland?
I have the opposite. I am cheap. I went at 10 a.m. on Friday, and
I bet you still paid more than I did.
No, I paid $7, so
that's how much it was at the Showplace Icon.
Well, maybe I should have been there. I will say, though there was only like 20 people in the crowd, they were very vocal. So
mine was at a press screening on Monday night, and because the COVID rules are really strict here, and they've been isolating the press from everybody else. And
Chris is in Canada, for those who don't know.
Yeah. So there was in Montreal, and there was only like 10 people at the screening, but they were all critics. And there was this one guy behind me who's like a radio host here in Montreal, who's like the biggest fanboy. And I'm telling you, when the thing was over, they probably have to wash the seat afterwards. He was like orgasmic watching it.
I think the best part about
screaming, yes! Oh, yes!
I think the best part about this movie, and I think we've seen this from reactions from people, there are online reaction videos for this movie.
Yeah, and that's cool to see. It is always fun to see those.
Yeah, the live reactions of being there with people when they see some of the stuff that happens in it for the first time. It's kind of mind-blowing. It's why I'm eager to go back and see it again. With people who probably haven't seen it before either, because this movie is like, this is the rare like superhero film that I think all the surprises we kind of knew, but when we saw them, we were still kind of mind blown.
I didn't know for sure. I strongly suspected that, but I didn't know for sure until and we were giving spoilers, right? So the Spider-Man reveal, when they bring in the other Spider-Man, I didn't think that it was going to be as I didn't think they'd be as prominent as they are in the movie. Like, I didn't think
you thought it'd be like a cameo at the end of the movie, right?
Yeah, I thought it would just be small roles, and I didn't realize that the last hour of the movie they would essentially be the co-stars, so they would have like legitimately good roles, right? So it wasn't. So it was. So that to me was a very welcome surprise, and the fact that they brought in Andrew Garfield and they gave him quite a bit to do, because I thought maybe he would get like the kind of the short end of the stick, but he actually has a lot to do in it, and so does Maguire.
That was part of the conversation I had with a friend about seeing all 3 Spider-Men together, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland, of course, was the way the film manages to kind of wrap up all of their stories. And I thought that was a real accomplishment. And in particular for Andrew Garfield, who is the one who didn't get to finish his trilogy. He only got his 2 movies, and then Sony got scared and made a deal with Marvel, which is basically pretty much how it happened. But I thought, kind of when you were watching it, he felt like the lesser Spider-Man, and I kind of felt like Andrew Garfield felt that way too a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah, and so it was neat the way they gave him a lot to do and made him very important and kind of told his story. And I thought that was really, really well done. Cortland,
but also nodding to the fact that like they might have screwed up a little too, which I really like appreciate.
Oh yeah, well, when he's talking about how shitty his villains were, yeah.
Well, not only that, but just Tobey Maguire has to tell twice that he's amazing, right? Like, there's definitely a lot of self-doubt and a lot of self-deprecation there, which I appreciated as a fan, because I've always, I've been one of the few people who have always said that the Garfield Spider-Mans aren't as bad as everybody says they are.
Yeah, I thought Amazing Spider-Man was really good, and I think his performance was always really, really good.
Look, the problem with the Amazing Spider-Man wasn't Andrew Garfield. No. It was Sony putting the cart before the horse. The problem with Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2, was they packed all this crap in there because they had already made all these big plans that they were going to do in the future, and they tried to get them all set up in the second movie, and the movie fell apart. It was bad.
It's the same thing that happened with The Mummy, when they tried to do all that dark universe shit, and it never works because you have to focus on making a good movie and then
tell a good story first. And they didn't do that, and they blew it. And they should have just look, the movie still did well. They should have just went ahead and just made their third movie and then whatever. It's funny because all these plans that they were coming up with now that people are all excited about are the same plans they were trying to do back then. It's the exact same shit.
It worked out well, but I have to wonder though. So my question is, and I was wondering if either of you had an opinion on that. Do you think that's it for Maguire or Garfield, or do you think that maybe this could be a way to bring them back? Because I feel like I could see both of them doing another Spider-Man movie, maybe even together, because they had great buddy chemistry, and I felt like they were setting that up, and you could call it Spider-Men, and it would do really well, I think.
Orlin, what do you think?
My gut is telling me no with Maguire.
I don't know, though. I don't know, because, what has he done lately that was so good,
He hasn't done anything, period.
Yeah.
So he's not doing anything, period.
The other day, I was looking at his IMDb and trying to figure out what he was doing. Yeah, part of me, he's well over 40 now, right? And
he's
I'm not
closer to 50, yeah.
Yeah, so I just don't know. If we do get another Spider-Man, I could totally see Garfield doing it, but I could see Maguire and maybe a little more of a backseat role. But
I don't see either one of them. I don't see either one of them wanting to come back. I think Garfield has moved on. I think
Garfield got his redemption, and now he's
Garfield.
There's always
money's a factor, of course, obviously. But if it was just based on, but then again, these are actors who have never exactly been the type to flock to things for money either.
No,
Tobey Maguire could have, and Andrew Garfield could as well. But I feel like they're both kind of moved on. I feel like this movie actually gives them a great way to close out their chapter.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
I'm more concerned about what happens to Tom Holland next. I know they say that there's another movie that they're developing, but I don't know what happens to that character. Now, this movie has some big things that happen in it. And for those who don't know, who haven't seen it yet, or even if you did see it, he kind of pulls what they did in the comics, which is where they kind of erased a lot of his backstory and erased people who know who he was. There's a whole big thing. I think it was called the One More Day storyline, which sucked. But anyway, they kind of pulled a lighter version of that. So now he's kind of off on his own, and no one knows who he is. And I'm frozen. Keep going.
He's like, I think that, Travis is gone. I feel like my leader has disappeared. No, I don't know about you, Cortland, but my theory with this is that they're kind of setting up the big Spider-Verse, and that they're just going to bring more and more people in. And I wouldn't be surprised if Maguire or Garfield came back, because I feel like they're just going to throw money at them. And I'd be very curious to know how much money they made for this. Oh, he's back. Thank God.
I could see Maguire or Garfield like popping up in Spider-Verse as like a voice. I think that would be
Sure.
cool.
Yeah.
They could be Force ghosts, like in The Force Awakens or something.
I mean, I think they kind of need to do maybe Miles Morales at some point too, like in live action. But Holland, though, I do think they're going to do a lot more with him, though, and I think that's kind of an interesting reset for the character, where he's like, more like Maguire and Garfield were in their Spider-Man movies, where he's kind of the solo hero, But then again, he's also existing in a world where all this Avengers shit has happened. So I wouldn't be surprised if he makes his way back into the team, or they undo the spell. Who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of things they can do, and based on even Pascal's statements from earlier this week, it sounds like they're going to use this as an avenue to take him in a different direction, sort of.
Well, and they also said he was going to be in a non-solo MCU movie before the next Spider-Man movie. So, right. I mean, for all we know, he could show up in Doctor Strange, and they could undo everything that they did in this. Who knows?
I thought at one point he was going to be in Doctor Strange too. So I was. I feel like Marvel and Sony is so good at like putting out stories, way early to confuse everybody, and then it never happens.
Or he'll be in the next Venom. They set that up as well.
Right. It was interesting that Venom kind of went back to the Sonyverse after just kind of popping his head in the MCU for like 2 minutes.
Hey guys,
and got set right back.
Well, I mean, the purpose of that was to leave the symbiote, right?
Right, to leave it. So, which if they wanted to make it like the comics, there are other people who've been Venom, and this will give them an avenue to have somebody else other than Eddie Brock be Venom. Of course,
or just be that random bartender.
Of course,
I would love to see a Danny Rojas Venom. Are you kidding? I would love to see Venom going around saying football is life. That would be great.
I want to see Toby. I want to see Topher Grace back in the part.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Not really.
No.
We'll say that. But in terms of this movie here, though, No Way Home. I mean, to me, it's my favorite Spider-Man movie now, and that's not easy for me to say because I love Spider-Man 2, which has been my favorite.
I think it's still Spider-Verse for me, because that's the only time I've ever seen a Spider-Man movie where I was like, literally my jaw was on the floor and super excited. I like this a lot, and I can kind of respect it for what it is, but I for me it's got to be Spider-Verse.
I love Spider-Verse as well, but this one to me, there's never been a Spider-Man movie that has been more emotional for me personally watching it. I didn't think there could be a Spider-Man movie better than Spider-Man 2, but this one was. And look, I love Spider-Verse as well. It's probably my third favorite Spider-Man movie. But this one to me just hit all the buttons, and it accomplishes a lot of things that Spider-Verse does well too.
Yeah.
So it's, to me, this movie is really tough to beat, and at $580 million worldwide, man, it's going to it might threaten some of those movies up there at the top, man. I mean, people have been really...
I mean, and it's COVID money too. That's the thing. Yeah. So it's like, how much would it have made outside of COVID times? What's your favorite Spider-Man movie though, Cortland?
Oh, I said I agree with you. Spider-Verse, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely. I was a teacher for a while, so to see like, a black kid be Spider-Man was just something amazing. And what they did bringing in the Spider-Verse as well.
I feel like Holland is going to pass the torch to a Miles Morales type, right?
Or they'll bring him in, or they'll just do both of them. Who knows? I mean, or they'll just do, I could see them doing Miles Morales on his own in the Spider-Verse too, because they won't have to split the money with Marvel, so I could kind of see them doing that too, kind of like what they do with Venom.
It could become full circle. We could have
it's a check that's waiting to get cashed, though. That's the thing. It is, people will go see it and it'll be huge.
I feel like there's got to come a point where it comes full circle, and Tom Holland is the mentor figure for another Spider-Man, the way Iron Man was a mentor figure for him in the beginning.
He's young still, though. I feel like he's got a ways to go. He's only 24 or something.
Yeah, but it's going to be a few years, and by then he'll be 27 almost, maybe.
Over the hill.
That's old enough for him to teach a 15-year-old kid to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, just find a great actor to play the part, and I'm sure they can. I'm sure there's an amazing actor out there who's probably 12 now. That'll be great.
I forget his name, but I have seen the kid from Blackish. He was at the original premiere, and then he was at this one, and I've seen people talk about him.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's bringing Muhammad Atta, the kid who was in Beasts of No.
He's already in the
I know, just make it him. He's already there. He was in the first Spider-Man movie, right? Or I think in the second one too. Just put him in there. Although
is he like 30 now?
He's got a lot bigger now. He got a lot bigger between that first and the second movie. So it might not work.
It's like the kids from Stranger Things. Have you seen them recently? They're like, I interviewed Finn Wolfhard, and he's like a man now. He's like in his 20s. You know, he's like, and say that Caleb McLaughlin got like a mustache and stuff like that. And he's like, hey, how are you?
He looked weird in Concrete Cowboy.
Yeah, he was grown up. I was like, Jesus, he's like, because I mean, that's the thing. They're all like 19, 20 now. So they're not kids anymore.
I know the girls are all dating rock stars now. They're really,
yeah. Are they really?
I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't pay attention to that stuff.
Finn Wolfhard's a rock star, man, with his hair. When I
interviewed him, he was like a band or something.
Yeah. With his hair, he's like this. He was a cool guy.
Jesus Christ. All right, so I think we all pretty much like Spider-Man No Way Home a lot. Like I said, it's doing extremely well at the box office.
I mean, it's very impressive. The fact that during COVID, but what's kind of troubling though is that you see like so I'm looking at the list now of movies on this great site called JoeBlow.com, and
never heard of it.
But the runner-up is Encanto with like 6.5 million, and then other movie that we're going to talk about, West Side Story, is just like tanking. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about West Side Story. And look, I'm not. Oh, he's gone again.
I know my camera's being stupid. Can you guys still hear me though?
I can hear you. Yeah.
You guys still hear me. That's all that matters.
I saw West Side Story exactly the way that Steven Spielberg would have wanted it to be seen on a screener link at home.
So, Chris, give me your thoughts on West Side Story. We're talking about how poorly it's doing at the box office. Talk to me about what your thoughts were when you saw the movie.
I really liked it. The thing about West Side Story was that I've seen the original, right? So I had some familiarity with it. There's something on top of your. Okay, there it's gone.
Oh, no. It's between my shitty default camera and my good HD camera, which is the one that keeps blinking out. But
I had some familiarity with it because I had seen the original Broadway musical, and not the original Broadway musical, but the original movie, right? The Robert Wise movie.
It's a little long ago for you.
Yeah. Well, I saw it a couple of years ago, actually, for the first time. So I was familiar with it and I really liked it, and so I knew the songs and everything, but I wasn't really looking forward to this one. There wasn't anything about it that really kind of screamed like, oh, it felt like more like a duty that I had to see it,
I felt about it.
Yeah, but then I really liked it. Like I was kind of like immediately right from the beginning, my toe was tapping and I was kind of like, like ready to go, so I thought it was great.
Offbeat, I'm sure, because it's you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I really liked it though. I really, really liked it.
Yeah. And Cortland, I'm coming to you next. I did not go into West Side Story expecting to really, really care that much about it. I don't really give a shit about that story. I never really have. Just like I don't really give a shit about the Romeo and Juliet story either. I just don't. These things don't work for me. But I found myself really enjoying it. And I think the reason I did, for the most part, the cinematography is incredible. And I think a lot of the choreography is fantastic. I mean, Spielberg is already such a visionary anyway. And to see him on this sort of thing, I think that combination is deadly. Like they're really good together. I thought Ariana DeBose was fantastic. I think she's the one who's going to come out on top in all of this, probably. I think she's going to win Best Supporting Actress as well. I think she drew me in more than Rachel Ziegler or boring as hell Ansel Elgort did.
Did you think he was that bad? I thought he was okay.
I think he's dull as toast in this joint, man. I really did not feel anything from him in this. I like Rachel Ziegler fine. I just think she's a little too timid and reserved for me. I liked how outward DeBose was in this. Like she's just out there in your face, and I loved it. But Elgort, he didn't do nothing for me, man. And I'm someone who's liked him okay in the past. Like I think he's great in Baby Driver. He's fantastic in The Fault in Our Stars.
Goldfinch.
No. 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 He's really bland for me in this, but everybody else, I was digging it, man. Cortland, what are your thoughts? You might know more about West Side Story than either one of us.
Yeah, so I am a very big Sondheim fan. Have been since I was a babe. It's kind of
No, he died, right?
What? No,
I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
yeah, no. So he died on the 26th, which was a Friday, and then we had the screening that Monday. So it kind of
we were
that kind of.
We were wondering if they were going to add like a postscript to the movie for.
I was thinking maybe it would be like, you know, in Star Trek the Star Trek where Anton Yelchin died, how they like put that in.
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as you, Chris, in terms of like I didn't really understand why they were going to make another one.
Yeah, because it was done well the first time. Yeah.
The only reason why I felt like they would is to clear up some of the diversity issues.
Yeah, sure, of course, yeah.
That's the only reason why. And so my expectations were kind of like on the floor. With this story in general, I'm not a huge. I think the music is great. I think Bernstein's great, and I think Sondheim lyrics are great. I think the story is very thin. I mean,
well, it's Romeo and Juliet. Yeah,
it's thin anyway. But here, particularly, I think it's thin.
Romeo and Juliet. Baz Luhrmann wrote that, right?
Yeah.
He was the first
Bill Shakespeare guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I basically my expectations were in the basement, and like Travis said, I was blown away by the choreography. I like how they nodded to the original of the original film, but still kept it original in their own.
Yeah.
I thought the female performances were amazing. Every single female knocked it out of the park for me. Ariana DeBose, Rita Moreno. I teared up during her big song, which I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but she's brilliant. And I thought what they did with her character, making her the widow of Doc, was brilliant, and really smart. And Ziegler, I really liked her. I thought her voice was perfect for Maria. I thought it's really hard to work off of somebody who is so wooden and so.
Yeah, you thought he was pretty bad too. I thought he was okay.
I mean, literally, you could have put one of the thumbs from Spy Kids in there, and there wouldn't have been a difference in performance at all. Like he is so. It was so wooden and basic for me. I was just kind of checked out.
I think he's perfect.
I thought she did really well acting off of him, considering it's her first time on screen and he wasn't giving her anything.
But so compare him to like Richard Beymer though in the original. Like, do you think I don't think he's any worse than Richard Beymer is. First
off, can we just say that like if you put them side by side, they look very similar.
Oh yeah.
And same with Ziegler and oh my God,
Natalie Wood. Yeah.
So. You know, which brings, I feel like, its own set of issues, but we don't have to get into that. Yeah, I thought, I don't know, at least he was charming. I didn't find Elgort charming at all.
But you know who was really good in it though was the guy who played Riff. I thought he was excellent.
Mike Feast. Yeah. Feist. Yeah, great. Yeah. I thought he was brilliant. And his dancing too.
Yeah.
I feel like, maybe part of it also is I feel like Ansel Elgort, he doesn't feel like street tough to me, you know, like.
I don't care. Like I said like, during the movie to Cortland, it's like, I'm not getting my ass kicked by Ansel Elgort. I don't care what's going on. I don't care if he's got a bazooka. I'm just not getting my ass kicked by his
dance fighting.
I couldn't buy that he was like the toughest dude around. Like I was like, really?
That's the toughest guy.
What's going on here? Okay. Y'all are scared of this guy. All right.
They needed somebody really tough like Chalamet.
Okay. Chalamet. You know what? I would have preferred Chalamet.
I would have 100% bought Chalamet.
I think I would have too, and I'm not a Chalamet fan. But I think I would have. You ever
see that video though from Men, Women, and Children or whatever, where Ansel Elgort picks up Timothée Chalamet and throws him down because he's like 6'4", right? And it was just the scene in the movie where he like picks him up in the cafeteria. He's like, and he throws him down.
Didn't he go to the same performing arts high school in New York too?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, one's career is taken off and one's career is going down. But he's got the Man Show coming, the Tokyo Vice. But I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, West Side Story. It's I think between this and In the Heights, it's saying some interesting things about musicals right now. It doesn't seem like people are really wanting to go and see them in theaters.
I mean, it's just the thing about West Side Story, though, is I think it's skewed so old in terms of an audience, and I think that didn't help. Like my parents want to see it, but they're not going to go see it in theaters. They're going to watch it when it comes on streaming. I think In the Heights would have done well had it not also opened on HBO Max. I think that was what killed that movie completely.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Like so many other Warner Brothers movies this year that are.
Oh yeah, I mean, the Suicide Squad wouldn't have tanked so completely. I think Dune would have made 2 or 3 times what it did. The one I'm worried about though is Matrix. I feel like Matrix is gonna die, and people are gonna be like, "Whoa, how could it bomb so badly?" And it's like, well, it's on HBO Max, so you can just turn on your TV.
I'm hoping that Warner Brothers is ready for that when it happens.
Well, it's going to. I mean, that's the thing. Why would you go see something in theaters, especially during COVID, if it's on your TV and you're not? I mean, I'm a movie theater fan, but if it's on my TV, I'll probably watch it on my TV. That's what I did with West Side Story. It's what I did with 1917 originally. And it's just like, it is what it is. It just happens. I think we're lazy.
Cortland,
I've also seen zero marketing for Matrix. I've seen nothing for it.
Well, they're dumping that, and they're really dumping The King's Man as well. Like that movie is.
I don't know. Can we talk about that next week? Because I really want to talk about The King's Man.
I liked it.
Not today, but not right now. All right, let's move on to the last movie. Let's talk about Don't Look Up. And I really want to talk about it because Chris, it seems like you have something to say about it. Because I really want to hear what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, I really didn't like it. I saw it on. I was looking forward to it. I usually like Adam McKay's stuff. But ever since him and Farrell kind of had their break, I find that McKay's stuff has gotten really, somebody said this arch, and it really is. And it's kind of like, I feel like he's got this, this air of superiority that comes across so strongly in his movies to everyone. And I feel like it's just like, it's a pointing finger every time I watch one of his things. I really liked The Big Short. And I kind of liked Veep, but then there was not Veep. Sorry, Veep is great. Vice, but then there was a scene in Vice at the end that really bothered me when he was like, "Oh, they were basically making fun of the Fast and Furious movies. Like only dumb people go to see those."
Okay, and see, this is the thing that I've got with Adam McKay, and I like Don't Look Up a lot. Now, my friend Karen Peterson, Karen. She had been telling me for weeks that I was going to love Don't Look Up because it's my kind of humor, and she was right. I love Don't Look Up. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. I think it's hilarious because it's so on the nose about how this country is right now, and it's so on point about that. And yeah, Adam McKay does get a little arrogant and with his humor, and he does it a lot. And it was in this movie too, and I noted it in my review. There was a point where it's when he starts criticizing the media and stuff like that. He starts to get really arrogant, and you can see there's a tonal difference. And I think he's got to manage that. And he's got to manage it.
Well, he's got the Yaley thing.
Why I didn't like,
I think he's.
I wanted to like Vice because I should have liked Vice.
Yeah.
But I felt like his humor was really, really conceited in that movie. And I was just kind of like, it's like, I agree with everything you're saying, and I don't like the way you're saying it.
That's how I felt about Don't Look Up, though. I kind of agreed with what he was saying too, but I didn't like the way he was saying it. And I feel like I feel like we're at a point now. I think, I'm not an American, so I can't really, talk too much about
right. You keep your opinion up there.
But I do feel like we're at a place now though, where the division between right and left is so strong that each side hates the other side completely. Right. And like almost blindly. And I just don't understand it personally. But it makes me worry because, when the next election happens, I feel like it's going to be a guy like 10 times worse than Trump is going to get elected. And it feels almost.
He's just going to be smarter than Trump. That's good.
Yeah, smarter, but probably worse, and it's just, and I feel like this is a movie though, that like, I feel like it comes along at the wrong time. People are going to watch this and it's just going to piss them off, and it's,
Yeah, I don't really care if it pisses off those people.
Yeah. But I also didn't think it was funny. That was another problem too, though. For a movie that was supposed to be funny, like I don't think DiCaprio is good at comedy. He's great in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I don't think that he I think he needs to be directed really well if he's going to be funny. And I thought that, Will Ferrell in that role would have been great, but then
like a role that was originally written for Will Ferrell. But
yeah, and then you put DiCaprio in it, and he's like, there's a line where he goes, "I got my Mark Hamill poster signed this year," and it was just like, it's DiCaprio. You just everybody is so far below you, and it comes across that way almost.
Yeah, but it's also because DiCaprio is such. The environmentalist, his character kind of feels like a version of himself in some ways. So I kind of like that aspect of it. I think that kind of added something that maybe the Will Ferrell version might not have added. So I don't know.
I thought, for me, as a person who didn't like the movie, I thought the best acting was actually Jennifer Lawrence. I felt that she was the one who was kind of like,
she's by far the funniest part.
Yeah, because she doesn't overplay it. It's
Rob Morgan, who must be like Netflix's secret weapon. Like they must have like algorithms that say put more Rob Morgan because he's in every goddamn thing on Netflix.
I also loved Chalamet in it, and I liked her and Chalamet together. I wanted the whole movie to be about them.
I've never said those words before now. Chalamet was great.
What did you think, Cortland? Did you like it?
Absolutely. First of all, I'm very surprised that Travis liked Chalamet and liked him in this part because it doesn't really.
I didn't think I would like him at all in this movie. As soon as he showed up, I was like, nope, I liked him.
Just give me a second. I have to go comfort my cat. Give me 2 seconds. Hold on. I'm going to go grab a cat.
Yep.
I really loved Chalamet. Do you want to just stop? Or?
No.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to stop and edit it. Whatever.
No.
Sorry about that. The cat was going crazy.
No, you're good. No, I love Chalamet in this, and I liked the smaller nature of his role, and I liked kind of like what his character does to Jennifer Lawrence's, and I going back to DiCaprio for a second, I don't necessarily think he's the greatest at improv, and in numerous interviews they've talked about the improv nature of the show or the film, and I just don't think he has it in the same way that Jennifer Lawrence does, or even Meryl Streep. Like I think that my one issue with Meryl Streep was that I felt like she wasn't in it enough. I felt like there wasn't enough of her. But I thought that she was funny when she needed to be, which I can't say the same for DiCaprio. But I thought he gave like a solid performance otherwise. Look,
all I know is I need Just Look Up to be performed live on stage at the Oscars.
I thought that all fell flat for me too. I didn't find it, I felt like we were supposed to find it funny, but I didn't find it funny at all. Like, I don't think I ever laughed in the movie except for at Chalamet and Lawrence a little bit, but
Lawrence had the best line in the whole goddamn movie.
Which one was that?
Conspiracy theories. She's like, they're not even smart enough to do all the things you think they're doing.
I really like the line where Tim is like, can I be vulnerable in your car? I really like that line.
I guess I'm not cynical enough though that I would believe that half of the country, if an asteroid was heading towards them and they could see it in the sky, would just not believe that it was coming and say, don't look up. Like, I guess I'm not that cynical. But maybe.
I guess I am, because I honestly believe that is the kind of dumb shit that would happen.
Yeah.
I can't, maybe a few years ago I would have believed you, but I've sat here and I've watched 800,000 people die here in the country and still have people I know who think the shit ain't happening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, to me, they're not that different. So it's like, I don't know. The problem with the movie for me isn't that it's not real. The fact that, I guess for some people, the fact that it is so real is why it's not funny for a lot of people, because they feel like it shouldn't even be made fun of, or because it's just not, it can't go far enough to get away from the way things really are.
Yeah.
This is one of the problems we have with humor nowadays anyway. Everything's so absurd. How do you make it worse? Idiocracy is reality now. So
I also felt when I was watching it though, like they were trying so hard to be network, and it's not network, and I felt that they needed that.
That did not work for me. That one.
Yeah. Well, it's because DiCaprio can't deliver that monologue. He can't, it's almost, maybe if, who would have been great in his role? Bryan Cranston could have done it. He would have been great.
Oh yeah.
They needed to go for less of a name and more of a, an everyman or something, or somebody who is more believable in that part. Right. And I thought that they didn't give Lawrence enough to do. Everybody's been talking about how it's a star vehicle and they gave her top billing, but she doesn't get enough to do. His role is way bigger than hers, and it doesn't make
not the drive of the movie. DiCaprio is. I mean,
and he's not as good in it as she is. He really isn't. Anyway.
He has the easier part though too. I mean,
Sure.
she gets to kind of sit back and throw barbs. That's really all she has to do, and look unamused for a lot of the movie. You know, she has her role is easier, but she's better at it, and she's really good at it at playing that kind of role.
Didn't like Blanchett either, but I haven't liked her in a while. I feel like I can spot her acting in everything.
Nightmare Alley.
Do you ever see the 47 version of Nightmare Alley?
Yeah, we've talked about it.
I thought that the psychiatrist was so much better in that movie than the one in. Like, I don't believe that.
Well, I haven't seen the movie, but I do like the 47 psychiatrist.
Yeah, I don't believe that like somebody like Blanchett could pull the wool over Bradley Cooper's eyes in the same way that I believe it in the original movie. But also the guy was dumber in the original movie. I think they cast too smart of an actor in that role. But anyway, I don't know. I just feel like I can always spot her acting, and I don't like that. You know, I thought that Tyler Perry of the two of them was better in this movie. You know, because he was like more. Sorry,
He was very funny in this as well.
Yeah, he's just more laid back, and he's more kind of confident in what he's doing. It feels like, you know. So I don't know.
I think Tyler Perry's not a good actor. So, I mean, when he does stuff like this, that he's funny and he's kind of, I can't tell if it's because he's being good or if it's just because he sucks.
I don't find him a bad actor. You know, I don't like. I've never watched.
You need to go rewatch Alex Cross and tell me that again.
I mean, he's terrible in Alex Cross. Yeah, I'll admit that. As an action star, I don't think it works. But I thought he was good in Those Who Wish Me Dead. I thought he was pretty good in that, like in small doses. Great in Gone Girl, just like small dose, small parts.
He was good in Gone Girl,
but he's not Denzel Washington or Morgan Freeman. He's not an action guy.
He's not. He's not even Leroy Washington. I mean, he's not. I mean, whatever. All right. Anyway, guys, this has been fantastic having the two of you on here to talk about these movies with me. We have to do it again soon. Absolutely. The three of us. It'd be fun. All right.
Cool.
That is Chris Bumbray, JoeBlow.com. You can find him on Twitter what's your handle on Twitter, Chris?
C Bumbray, but I usually just post from JoeBlow.com.
Really? Are you handling that? You handle their
sometimes, yeah, sometimes.
Okay,
it's between me and this guy Alex Mady. We kind of go back and forth a bit.
Oh, okay. So C Bumbray or JoeBlow.com. Cortland, where can they find you on Twitter?
Well, I write for you on Punch Drunk Critics. I have 2 reviews coming up for General for Jordan, and I will be reviewing The King's Man, which I am not looking forward to.
I liked it.
You should come on and talk about that, because
we definitely need to talk about
one scene that I really want to discuss with you guys. So I'm sure you know what it is. So I'm on there, and then I'm also on Twitter under @Portlandia.
Oh, nice.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. This has been Cinema Royale. I'm Travis Hopson, the Punch Drunk Critics. You can find me on Twitter @PunchyCritic. And of course, follow Punch Drunk Critics there as well at PDC Movies. All right. Thanks, everybody. This has been Cinema Royale. Thanks a lot, Chris. Thanks a lot, Cortland. And I'll see you guys later.
Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.